Should you do your own maintenance on your motorcycle? In this video, I'm going to go through the 10,000 mile maintenance and what all is required. I'm going to do the oil change, the primary change, and I'm going to let you guys watch me as I try it out for the first time ever. Let's see how it goes. Let's do this. First of all, why would you want to do the maintenance yourself? It is a lot easier to just take it down to the dealership. But first and foremost is the cost. So I called up my local dealership here in California, and they told me that it was going to cost, get this, $430 to do what amounts to an oil change and check a few minor components. So I decided, you know what, it's time to learn how to do this myself. Not to mention, there may be other people out there who want to see how to do it for their own selves, and decided to make a video on it. So I'm going to the store right now, gonna get a few extra tools that I need, but I got most everything already. And I'm gonna go over not an in-depth how-to review, as this is my first time doing it, but more lessons learned, tips and tricks. And I'll let you guys follow me along, as my first time ever doing any maintenance on any motorcycle, for that matter. So I'm gonna go to the store, get finished, and we'll see you right back here. So a few things here that I got for the oil change are, obviously we have oil, a few different funnels, got the pan, some extra tools, one little fancy item that I got here. This will allow you to check the tread depth of your tires. So since I'm not taking this to the dealership, typically that's something they would check. I am going to check that myself with this little $5 item here. Got my fuel filter, and one important thing if you're going to be doing this yourself is to go and take the bike and run it for just a few minutes. I took it around the block a few times, warm up that oil. You want it to be a lower viscosity, so that it will drain more fluidly and come out more quickly rather than gunk up in there. So we'll go ahead and get started. First things first, just so you know, the oil reservoir is right here, and in order to open that up, you press down, pop it up, and twist to the left. And you can pull this open when you're draining the oil. You want to take that lid off to allow the oil to flow through more smoothly, and we'll go ahead and head over to that. So if I take a look down here, see if I can get this in there. Your little tube to drain your oil is right here. And what you want to do is use a flathead screwdriver to release that band around there. And then you just pull this plug, make sure you have an oil pan underneath that to catch the oil. Go ahead and set that up. Okay, we're letting that drain here for a few minutes. It's only been going a couple minutes here. You want it to drain out as much as possible before you pull the oil filter, just so it's a little bit less messy when you pull that oil filter. What I may go ahead and do, I'm gonna give it a shot anyway, is go ahead and open up the primary, which is this right here. And basically, you just have a chain going around in here that needs to be lubricated, and that's all that the oil does in here. It uses the same oil as the engine. So I'll go ahead and pull this cover off and see if you can see right here is the plug that you want to pull out. So you unscrew that and make sure you have, of course, an oil pan underneath it. When you do, you can just use the same oil pan here. We'll unscrew that, let that drain while the rest of this is draining as well, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the oil filter.
What's there out in the dark? Make sure to keep all your windows locked. Do you surrender? You try to stay awake. These walls you can't escape. Here's one for the lonely hearts, for the ones that fear the dark. You better run out of here. Bet you can look the other way.
Okay, that's not too bad. You have a little magnet down here that actually attracts any broken off pieces of metal within there, and it doesn't look like it's too bad. I was worried that it might be a little worse than this. So I went ahead and cleaned this off, and I removed the O-ring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the new O-rings, put it on here, and we'll go ahead and open that primary up. All right, it's all fitted up, ready to go.
Get me out, take me anywhere but here. Oh, anywhere but here. Wanting something good to come, waiting for things to run away from. Are you just hiding? Yeah.
One thing I looked up that you want to be careful on is this little spring right here is just barely held on there. And if I pull it, it's going to just come right out. So when you're pulling that out, if your bike is level, like would be preferable, I'm just using my kickstand here, it's possible that it can fall back in there, and you do not want that to happen. Take this whole thing apart to get it out. So I'm just going to pull that out of there, set it to the side. Okay, now in order for me to get all of the oil out of here, preferably you want to have this bike again straight up and down. So I'm going to actually, since I don't have a stand to put my bike on, I'm going to get on it and just kind of level it out, kind of let it drain for a few more minutes, and don't be looking at my sexy legs.
Into the fire, talking like you never die, like you're immortal.
So sure enough, that caused a little bit more to drain out. I'm gonna go ahead and do it one more time, just kind of stand it up now that it's kind of slowed down again, and just give it one more try. Okay, do my best to show you in there. It's completely empty, emptied out on the bottom. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is pour in about a quart. We want it to go to the rim of the bottom down there. Really hard to show you in this picture here, but it takes about a quart to do. Pro tip, make sure you put the stop back in before you put your oil in. Now we put in 1 quart.
Here's one for the lonely hearts, for the ones that fear the dark. You better run out of here. Bet you can't look the other way. Here's one for the broken road. That's the only one you know. You better run out, truth or dare. Get me out, take me anywhere but here.
Okay, so I got these all tightened up here. Learned a couple things here. First of all, if you don't have something to stand your bike up straight, you're gonna need some help doing that when you close this down and when you fill up the oil. I had my wife come out here, hold the bike for me, because when you're at this angle, you can't properly fill it or it'll just pour back out, and it's just difficult. So make sure you have somebody to help you with that. Next, we're going to go ahead and open this up here so we can view the slack in the chain in there and just make sure that it's all correct. Torx 25. Looks good to me. Okay, now the primary is all completely done. We've drained it out, we've checked the chain, and we've replaced everything. It's all good to go. Now we need to just finish up with the oil. What I'm gonna do is move the pan over to the oil filter, and put this down for protection on the floor, and we'll go ahead and get the oil filter changed. Okay, now I'm gonna be using this tool here to remove the oil filter. You can buy it from Harley Davidson. I wanna say it's like 10 bucks or something. I think I bought this from Amazon for something like $5-10 bucks. So not too bad. You can use other things, but you'll probably save yourself a lot of trouble with this, I would assume. So we'll see how it goes. Oh, before we do that, about made a mess here. I want to put in place this handy little funnel that I found online that's supposed to fit underneath here, because this does make quite a mess. It could help save you some time from what I understand. We'll see how well it works. It doesn't latch up in there like you would hope it would. unfortunately, but we're gonna give it a go.
A minute until midnight. I'm just wondering where you at. Just thought I'd call and wish you good night. I left my key under the mat. I don't get anything done, you're stuck on my mind.
So here's the new oil filter, and they recommend putting a little bit of oil around here. It looks like this one came prepackaged with a little bit around this gasket here, and also to fill up a few ounces in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
I keep on missing your touch, missing your vibe. This feeling I go when I say.
And we'll go ahead and install the filter. You just hand tighten this here.
Hey, won't you come on over? Don't you miss me too?
Okay, next thing we're going to do is plug back the oil drain, and after I do that, I'll do a little bit of cleanup, and we'll go ahead and fill in the new oil. This bike here, the Iron 883, is supposed to take about 2.8 quarts. I have 3 quarts available here. We'll fill up 2 quarts and we'll check the level, run it, and see how it goes.
Give it all you got, babe. Give it all you got, baby. I'd rather try than lose you. Give it all you got, baby. Give me all you got.
Quart number 2.
Give it all you got, babe. Give it all you got, baby. I'd rather try than lose you. Give it all you got, baby. Give me all you got.
Okay, dipsticks in, got our key. And we'll start her up. What we're gonna be looking for here when we start her up, that oil light, we want it to go off after a few seconds. If it does, we'll let it run for about a minute. Okay, we let her run for about a minute. Let's take a look. And that is actually looking about where we want it. I'm gonna clean it off and check it again though. All right, let's check it again. A little on the low side. We'll go ahead and add in a little bit more. All right, we gave it about 1/3 of a quart more. This time what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start her up right around the block, check it again, make sure we're around the level we wanna be. Okay, we just got back from the ride and just rode around the block real quick. Let's go ahead and check our oil level. See what we're looking like. It looks a little low. Let me clean it and try it again. All right, she's all cleaned. Let's go ahead and stand the bike up and let's check it again. Oh yeah, that's right, about the halfway. That's where we want it. So it looks like we've got the oil change complete. Okay, so now that the job is all finished, I wanted to kind of go over my final thoughts, lessons learned, what it was like for the first time ever having changed the oil on any machine, much less a motorcycle. Overall, I think it was definitely worth it. I mean, I spent 50 bucks on the oil and probably another 30 bucks on miscellaneous funnels and whatnot. So overall, it cost me about 80 bucks. And instead of having to pay 430 at the dealership. The actual amount of time that I put into it took me about 1.5 to 2 hours, and that was with filming all of this and trying to have the camera in the way and different things like that. If I didn't have to do with that, probably talking 45 minutes, an hour tops. So it's really not that bad of a job. If you do have to do this though, I would suggest I think the next time I will probably get something to lift up the bike. I was too cheap and didn't want to go out and get something like that. You do have to have that if you want to change your primary there, or have someone else hold the bike steady for you, because you cannot do that without the oil actually spilling out. You can't properly change it. So overall, definitely a good idea. Don't forget, if you do, to recycle your oil. You don't want to just dump that in any old-fashioned. What I'm going to do is pour them into empty bottles that I have, empty water bottles that we still have. And I'm going to take that down to, you can take it to any auto dealer, like AutoZone or O'Reilly, something like that. I'm going to take it down there, and they are required by the government to actually take those and recycle them for you. So let me know what you guys think. Have you ever done this yourself? Are you thinking about doing it? If you are, I would encourage you to do it. It really, it takes the place of a gym day. You know, you get in there, you get a little bit of work done, you get some cool new tools maybe. Overall, I think it's a good idea to do. Let me know though what you guys think, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.